Good morning, team. It's feeling distinctly autumnal out there this morning, isn't it? Hence my little scarf, but I'm sure I'll warm up once I get going. So this is a little autumnal flow this morning to mark the autumn equinox that was last Friday. I had it in my head it was Thursday, but it was officially the start of autumn last Friday. And according to Ayurveda, which is said to be the sister science to yoga, it literally translates, I think, as a science of wellness. Ayurveda says that each season is attributed to an element, and the element attributed to autumn is air and space and dryness. So if we think about lovely crunchy autumnal leaves, it's hardly surprising that that is the element that links to this beautiful season, my favourite season, I think I've told you before. So we've got a class designed to create a bit of space in the body, but also from that element of spaciousness, it's a wonderful element of air and lightness. But if we have too much of that, we can be left feeling a little bit ungrounded, unsettled, airheaded, as I have been these last few days. But that's maybe perfectly normal for me. And what we need to make sure of is that from that lightness, we've got our firm foundation. So when we're coming up into a high lunge, thinking about the placement of our feet, so we feel really nice and secure. And from there, we can create that sense of lightness through the upper body. So if you're ready, let's start lying down today. So come down to lie on your backs. And let's keep the feet nice and wide today. So create a little bit of space in the low back by taking your feet nice and wide apart. And allow your knees to drop to touch. It's called Constructive Rest. What a lovely pose to start in. So if you need to create even more space in your back, you can pick up your hips and think about lengthening your tailbone down towards your heels. Maybe a little arching of your back to settle your shoulder blades down away from your ears. And let's place one hand on the chest and one hand on the belly this morning. You can slide your fingertips towards the outside edges of your body so you can rest your elbows down on the floor there. Closing the eyes, let's take a nice deep breath in. And as you breathe out, allow yourself to create a little bit of space for yourselves in amidst all the busyness that can threaten to subsume us this busy and noisy world that we inhabit. And so carving out a little bit of time in the middle of the week, setting ourselves up for greatness for the rest of the day. As you begin to follow the rhythm of your breath, just noticing the space beneath your hands, gently increasing as you inhale. And gently dropping back as you exhale. So a nice spacious inhale, letting the chest and belly rise. And as you exhale, allow the chest and the belly to drop back into that space that you've created. And as you begin to allow the breath to settle, just notice maybe any parts of the body, any areas that might be feeling less than spacious this morning. I always feel that as it gets a little bit colder, I can begin to feel my shoulders start creeping up around my ears. So maybe you're feeling a little tight in the upper body. See if you can keep that space between the bottom of the ear and the top of your shoulder throughout the practice. Maybe it's somewhere else in the body, that kind of accumulation of tension that sometimes we don't even notice until we come to our practice. So using that inhale to create that space wherever you might be feeling a little bit tight. Welcome, Hazel. We just started. And then exhale, you can settle back into all of that space. And keeping that breath nice and spacious, nice and deep, wide and open as you inhale. Long and slow exhale. Let's simply Bring the arms out to the side, level with your shoulders, like the top of a letter T, stretching the arms as far apart as you can, space across the collarbones. We'll point the knees up towards the ceiling. Turn your heels in, your toes out ever so slightly. We'll take a nice deep breath in, and as you breathe out, allow both knees to drop over to the right side. And we'll pause there for a moment, maybe turning your head over that left shoulder. Relaxing the buttocks. Go ahead and adjust your feet accordingly, bringing them a little closer together if it's pulling on knees or hips. Getting to wake up through the spine nice and gently. We'll come back up to the middle as you inhale and over to the left as you exhale. Again, trying to let the knees drop, trying not to hold or grip around the hips and the buttocks as we gently allow gravity to do the work for us. And let's just take that from side to side with the breath. So inhaling to center and exhaling, we take a little tick-tock to the right, back to the middle, and then over to the left. And I'm just kind of rolling over the back of my heels there, so my toes are lifted as I come up through the middle, but you can do whatever feels good this morning. But trying not to rush this, keeping that sense of space across your collarbones. Let's do one more over to the right side. And one more over to the left side. And when you come back from that left side, we'll snuggle the heels in towards your bottom, hip width apart now, and bring the arms down by the side of the body. And try and create some space across your feet now. Maybe you can lift your toes and then place them back down on the mat. Feeling nice and broad across your feet. Let's take an inhale. And as you exhale, press into the feet and start to lift the hips up into your shoulder bridge. It might not be very high to start with. We'll take an inhale at the top. And as you exhale and roll your way down, think about creating space between each vertebrae. Inhaling with your hips on the floor. And as you exhale, roll up maybe a little bit higher, maximum to that flat place between your shoulder blades. And as you inhale, maybe you can lift up just a little bit higher. And exhaling again, rolling your way back down. You can continue as we do a couple more. Well, this time add the arms, lifting all the way up and back. Pausing at the top as you inhale, stretching the fingertips back. And as you exhale, lower your hips and lower your hands, or just your hips this morning. We'll take an inhale. And exhaling, rolling up, lifting the arms if that works for you, stretching them back behind you. And let's pause in this shoulder bridge, arms lifted or lowered. Maybe walk your feet in a little closer to your bottom and rise up onto the balls of the feet. See if you can lift your hips just a little bit higher on your next inhale. And exhale, roll your way down. Maybe your heels stay lifted. Coming all the way back down. And when your hips touch the floor, go ahead and stretch the legs out in front of you. So we end up in a lovely full body stretch. See if you can stretch your toes and your fingertips as far apart as you can. Maybe even arch your back up off the floor a little bit. And then relaxing that stretch, let's press the right heel forwards. Toes pull back towards your face as you reach the fingertips back behind you. The whole right side of the body getting that lovely sense of space and stretch. And then we'll simply swap sides. So left heel, it's like you're pushing your left heel against a wall, reaching the fingertips back. Let's do one more each way. So as you press that right heel forward, your left hip might slide up the mat a little bit. And then we'll do the last one on the left side. And then coming back to that full body stretch, we'll take an inhale. And as you exhale, bring your right knee up and in towards your chest. Keep that left leg out nice and long. Give it a squeeze. And then inhaling back into your full body stretch. Arms and legs extended, and then swapping sides. Left knee comes up and in. I stretch out through the low back. And again, just moving with your breath now, no rush. Inhale. If you want to start lifting your upper body and bringing your nose towards your incoming knee, go ahead and do that. Or keep your head and shoulders on the floor. So as you squeeze the knee up, you maybe bring your nose towards your knee. Lovely. Other leg out long, anchoring you down. Let's do one more on the left side. So even things out. One more with that left knee coming up. We'll all meet in that delicious full body stretch when you've released that left leg down on the mat. Pausing in that full body stretch, enjoying the space, we'll take an inhale. And this time as you exhale, bring both knees up towards your chest. Give them a nice hug, a nice squeeze, and maybe sliding the shoulders down away from your ears. You can once more curl up into a little ball, nose towards your knees there, stretching upper and lower back. And keep the knees where they are, but we'll lower the head, lower the shoulders. Maybe have a little roll across the back of the head to release tension in the neck. And then one hand on each knee. Just circle the knees. Now you might, like me, want to keep your knees together, steering them round as one unit. Or take the legs out nice and wide, like you're doing a breaststroke. So each knee is drawing its own individual circle. If you want to release some tension in the hips. So whatever you're doing with your legs, let's just change direction. You may be having a little play with both this morning. Why not? Why not? So when you've done that little rotation and the knees come back in towards the chest, let's hold behind the knees, cross the ankles, and roll your way up to seated this morning. Morning, Hazel. Or go ahead and stretch the legs out in front of you. Take a moment to settle those sit bones down into your mat. You can always pop yourself up on a cushion if you want to. Fingertips just down by the floor. Pressing down gently so you can feel that sense of lightness across the chest. And then as you inhale, we're going to sweep the arms up towards the sky. And as you exhale, bring the hands to your heart and your chin down towards your chest. Let the back of the neck release. Twice more inhale. Stretching the arms up above the head. Maybe the palms touch, maybe not. And coming back down. One more time, big reach up. And then coming all the way down. We're going to add on this next time. So reaching both arms up. We'll take a little twist round to the right now. So bring that left hand across the body onto your knee, your thigh, or in front of you. Other hand settles behind you. And just pause there to lift up out of your hips. See if you can create a little bit more rotation through the spine there this morning. And then keeping that left hand where it is, reaching the right arm up. Going to lean over the top of the head there, just coming into a nice stretch. Try not to lift the knee, so keep pressing that right knee down. Reaching the right arm up, we're going to come into eagle arms. So right arm on top of left arm. You might just bring your hands onto your shoulders, or you can join me in that eagle. As you inhale, let's lift the elbows. And as you exhale, elbows drop down towards your belly button. And maybe see if you can press the little finger edge of your hand towards the floor if you're in that full eagle. Lovely. Lifting the elbows, lifting the gaze. Let's sweep the arms in front of the face, keeping them crossed like you're taking off a big jumper. And then bring the fingertips behind you. Come up onto your fingertips. You can lift the chest, rolling the shoulder blades together. Lovely, releasing the stretch. Cross the legs the opposite way. And we'll try it on the other side. So inhaling up. This time as you exhale, we're going to twist round to the left. So right hand coming across the body this time. Other hand snuggle close to your sit bone. Popping you forwards so you can again really open up across the chest this morning. And then left arm reaching up. And then coming over the top again, pressing that left knee down, spacing the top of the hip. Reaching up. Let's come into that eagle with left on top of right. So again, hands might rest on shoulders or coming to that full eagle. Let's lift the elbows, take an inhale. And as you exhale, drop the elbows. And again, if you've got that cross at the wrist, try pressing the little fingers away from you. Lifting up once more, circling the arms in front of the face, swimming them behind you so you can come up onto your finger pads. Lifting the chest, rolling the shoulder blades down the back. And release. Recross the legs one last time. We're going to do that one more time through. One movement, one breath. Inhaling up. And as you exhale, take that twist round to the right. Right arm lifts up, take an inhale. And then leaning over the top, exhale. Into your eagle, right on top of left as you inhale. And as you exhale, elbows drop down towards belly button, rounding the back. Circle the arms in front of the face, breathing in. And breathing out, hands land behind you. Option to just lift and open through the chest, or maybe this time you can lift your hips, pressing your knees down towards the floor. We'll all meet in that seated position, ready for one last time as you recross the legs. One movement, one breath. Inhale. Exhale, twist to the left. Left arm lifts up on an inhale and then stretches over the top. Inhaling into your eagle, left on top of right. And exhale, elbows dropping down as you round the back. Cross the arms in front of the face as you inhale, sweeping them up. And hands come behind you as you exhale. Lifting the chest as you inhale, an option again to lift the hips, keep the chin tucked in so you're looking up towards the ceiling. And then lower yourself down, down, down. Give those legs a little shake, shake. And then find your way round onto all fours this morning. And as you come down onto all fours, really take a moment to spread your hands nice and wide directly underneath your shoulders, making sure your hands are parallel and your knees are underneath the hips. And then from there, pressing into your hands, try and create that space between tailbone and crown of head. And from that lovely firm foundation, let's come into our cat and our cow. So as you inhale, let your belly dip, your heart pull forwards, and then exhale, angry cat. So as you inhale, you maybe feel the front body getting a lovely stretch as you lift your chin. And exhale, create that space between your shoulder blades as you dome the upper back. Let's do a couple more like that. So inhaling, chest coming forwards, keep pressing into your hands. And exhale, we round on up. This time we'll come into our cow pose, take an inhale. And as you exhale, come down onto that child pose, bottom to heels, bringing your elbows and your forearms down in two parallel lines if you can. Inhale, we peel the forearms up, we come back into our cow pose. And exhale, rounding the back, bottom to heels, forearms and elbows coming down onto your mat. And again, we're moving with breath, rolling cat-cow. So as you bring those elbows and forearms down, try and bring them down in two parallel lines, tucking the elbows in, beginning to wake up the upper back. Inhale. And this next time we come into a child pose, we're going to pause there. See if you can walk your hands forwards. Come onto the tips of your fingers and thumbs. And as you press them forwards and down, you hug your hips back towards your heels. Feel a little bit more space underneath the armpits and down into the side of the body. Now we're going to keep the arms where they are, but simply bring your palms to the floor, beginning to wake up the upper body as you inhale, come onto all fours. And exhale, travel forwards a little way, dipping the chest down between your arms, elbows hug in. Inhaling back onto all fours and exhaling back into that child pose. So inhaling, coming forwards and exhale, a little dip down, navel to spine, so I'm not dropping my hips, body's in one long line, back onto all fours and into that child pose. Let's do that one more time. Inhale and exhale, little dip. Inhale. And this time as you exhale, tuck the toes under as you send your bottom back towards your heels. And maybe rock your hips from side to side for a gentle massage across the ball of the feet. And then walking your hands towards your knees and come up to sit on your heels, only if that feels good with your toes tucked under. So if that doesn't work for you, you can always flatten your feet out. So come on up and sit on your heels there. Lovely. Stretching out through the feet. If you can hold for one breath, that's better than no breaths. You can always do it from seated. As you inhale, I'm going to sweep the arms up and interlacing the hands above the head. And take a little side bend over to the right. Inhale through the center. And over to the other side, so whatever configuration the legs are, we're just having that lovely side bend up through the middle. How are those feet if you've got them tucked? Hands come behind you. Interlacing them. We'll draw the knuckles down, lifting up with the chin a little ways, again, not dropping the head too far back. And slowly release. Coming back onto all fours, give those feet a little flap. If you, like me, we're sitting on your heels there. Taking the hands slightly forwards at the shoulders now as we're ready for a downward dog. Let's tuck the toes under and come up into your downward dog if that feels good this morning. If not, you can stay on all fours and just do your cat and cow. If you're with me in that downward dog, hips are nice and high, and we're pedaling the feet out. Maybe a little sway of the hips, trying again to keep that space between ear and shoulder. And let's stretch out the back of the legs. So coming to stillness, you're going to tuck your right foot. So you pick your right foot up, tuck your right foot behind your left foot. Go ahead and bend that left knee as you stretch the right heel down towards the mat, pressing your rib cage towards your thighs. Nice stretch in the back of the leg. And then coming back to center with the legs, we'll cross left foot behind right foot. So this time it's the right knee that bends and we're pressing your left heel down towards the floor. Lovely. And then bringing the feet hip width apart, let's walk to the top of the mat there. Ending in a forward bend, bending the knees, maybe catching the elbows so you can have a little sway of the body down over the legs there, allowing the crown of the head to drop. And then releasing your elbows, let your arms dangle in front of you as you roll your way up to stand nice and slowly, rebuilding the spine. Lovely. So we're standing at the top of the mat. We'll start to build a little flow. So let's sweep the arms all the way out and up. We'll take an inhale and a deep forward fold. So bend those knees as much as you need to on the way down. Hands to shins or thighs, lifting up halfway. Let's take an inhale, sliding shoulders from ears and exhale to fold. Rise on an inhale, reaching arms above the head. Hands coming to heart, exhale. Let's do that again. So inhale, growing a little bit taller each time. Exhale as you fold forward, hinging over the hips. Hands to shins or thighs so you can energize the chest forwards as you inhale. And then releasing back down as you exhale. Rising all the way up, breath in. Hands to heart, exhale. One more time, then we'll add on, inhale. Exhaling, hamstrings may be feeling a little bit more open as you dive down over the legs. You can keep your fingertips on the floor for your flat back, or feel free to use the legs as a prop. Rising on an inhale, let's start to build our little flow. Exhaling, hands to heart. Inhaling up. Exhaling all the way down over the legs. Coming up halfway as you inhale. And this time as you exhale, slide or step your right leg back, or plant the hands and bring the chest forwards. And pause as you press the heel away from you. Press into your hands as you dome the upper back. Keep pressing into your hands as you inhale into plank. And as you exhale, bring your knees down and your chest down between your arms, coming down onto your tummy. Space across the shoulders now. So hands nice and wide, palms flat, or up on those little fingertips. So as you inhale and press into your hands or fingertips, we can lift the chest. And exhale, release. Let's do that twice more. So as you inhale, waving the chest forwards and up, lengthening the toes back behind you. And exhale to lower. We'll do that one more time. So with the hands nice and wide, you've got a lovely sense of space across your chest, across your collarbones. Hands underneath the shoulders, come up all fours, take an inhale. Toes tuck, bottom to heels. Exhale. Back onto all fours, we'll take an inhale. And a downward facing dog. As you exhale, you might need to move your feet in a step or two. Pausing there as you again energize the hands forwards and the hips up and back. And bending your knees, looking forwards as you inhale, walk or step to the top of your mat. And exhale, fold over the legs. Let's rise on an inhale. Building up a little steam. Arms lift up. And exhale, hands to heart. Let's try that with the left side. So inhaling up. All the way down as you exhale. Finding your flat back as you inhale. And as you exhale, we'll plant the hands, slide or step left leg back, pause. So again, chest powered forwards, heels stretching back. Press into the hands as you dome the upper back. Keep that as you inhale into your plank. And exhale, knees down, chest down. Again, hands nice and wide as you inhale, offering the chest forwards into your cobra. Remember, you can have your palms flat or up on those little fingertips as we do that twice more. Creating that sense of space. And again, this is a lovely option to come back to if cobra feels a little bit too tight. Widening the hands off the mat. Inhaling up one last time. And exhaling down. Hands under the shoulders. Let's come back all fours. Take an inhale. Tuck the toes, bottom to heels. Exhale, half dog. Coming back onto all fours. Inhaling. Up into your downward dog as you exhale. Again, maybe walk your feet in half a step so we can lift the hips up and back. Looking forwards as you inhale, walk or step to your flat back, top of the mat. And exhale to fold. Let's rise all the way up. Hands coming to heart, pausing. And continuing with our little flow, building up. So hands coming to heart. Let's find our chair pose. First, you send your hips back. Create that lightness across your toes, so most of the weight is in your heels and your heart's still lifted. Arms might stay close to your chest, or maybe extend them forward or up into a lovely wide V. Keep the arms nice and wide, so again, that sense of space prevails. Sinking down a little deeper, we'll take an inhale. And exhale, coming forwards over the legs. Coming up halfway, we'll take an inhale. And this time as we exhale, right leg steps back, but this time we'll bring the knee down to the floor. Sweep the arms all the way out and up as you inhale. Catching hold of that right wrist, will come over towards the left into a lovely side bend. Inhale to center. And as you exhale, bring the hands down. Pick up the back knee, and as you inhale, let's shoot that left leg back into plank. And as you exhale, knees lifted or lowered, come down onto your tummy. Now widen those hands, or maybe keep them in under your shoulders this time as we just do one little cobra, as high or low as feels comfortable for you. And then exhale to lower. Back onto all fours, take an inhale. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Or a half dog maybe, staying in that variation of child pose. This time from your downward dog, let's bend just your right knee. And floating that right leg up behind you, come onto the ball of the underneath foot as you inhale. Exhale, step or help right foot forwards. Lower the back knee. Arms sweep up, breath in. Catching left wrist this time. Let's come over to the right for that lovely side bend. A little bit of balance. Inhale to center. And exhale, bring the hands down. Stepping to the top of the mat, flat back as you inhale. And exhale to fold. Rising on up, sweeping the arms all the way out and up. Hands coming down to heart, exhale. Let's try that on the left leg with a little variation. So hands to heart, find your chair pose. Check your knees are parallel. I'm not knocking in together as you, again, send the weight back in the heels, offering those arms forwards or up into a lovely wide V. Lovely, sinking a little deeper, finding your breath as you inhale. Exhale, hinging forwards, all the way back down. Lifting up halfway, we'll take an inhale. And exhale, slide or step left leg back and lower the knee down. Arms lifting up, breath in. And breathing out straight back down to frame that front foot. Right hand, we're going to lift all the way up into a lovely twist. Stretching the right fingertips up as you press down with that left hand, spatial across the chest. Lovely, take one more breath in there. As you breathe out, both hands to the inside of the front foot. Glue your knee against your upper arm and open the left arm this time. Like feeling a little something going on in the hip there. Hands coming down. Framing the foot as you come onto your fingertips, take an inhale. Moving the hips back into a nice hamstring stretch as you exhale. So just take care that the hips haven't swung over to the left side of the mat. Draw those hips back. Maybe bring your right hand over your toes and pull the toes back towards your face if you want to deepen that stretch this morning. Lovely. Planting the foot, bending the knee. Pick up the back knee. Press into your hands as you inhale into plank. Knees lifted or lowered, come down onto your tummy. Your back bend of choice. Little cobra or maybe a cheeky upward dog if you're feeling up for that this morning. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward dog. Or stay on all fours. Finding that sense of space across your hands as you press them forwards and down, energizing the hips up and back, bending left knee, floating the left leg up behind you. We'll take an inhale. And as you exhale, step or help it forwards, lower the knee. Arms lift up, breath in, that lovely high, low lunge. And exhale, we'll bring the hands down. Coming into your twist, left arm opens this time. So Keep the chest powering forwards as you find the space between your arms. And then bringing both hands to the inside of the front foot. Squeeze your knee against your upper arm, right arm opens this time. So you might get a little hip stretch. Coming back through the middle. Framing the foot as you come onto your fingertips. Lift the chest, take an inhale. Hips move back into your hamstring stretch. Maybe your knee stays bent. Maybe you can straighten the leg and pull the toes towards your face. And maybe you want to bring the left hand over the ball of the foot and gently pull it back towards your face. All of those options. See what serves you this morning. Lovely. Releasing the foot. Let's bend the front knee, pick up the back knee and stepping to the top of the mat. Take an inhale and exhale to fold. Let's rise on up. Pausing as you exhale, bringing the hands to the heart as we come into a little balance. So if you're feeling a bit wibbly wobbly, a bit ungrounded, you can always use a piece of furniture. So just shifting the weight into your left foot so you can pick up your right heel. Take a little pivot on the ball of the foot as you find your way to your tree pose today. And that might be using the floor for a bit of support, using a piece of furniture, lifting up nice and tall. To bring the arms forwards. And then bring the back of the hands together. And then cross right wrist over left wrist so your palms are together. You take both arms up towards the sky. If that's too much with the arms, you can always just keep the arms apart, pulling your biceps back by your ears. Lifting up nice and tall. And then go ahead and reach the arms forwards. And bring the hands back to your heart. Stepping right foot behind left foot, or if that's too much, keeping the feet parallel. Left hand to hip, bend the knees as you take that right arm over the top of the head, bumping the hips out to the side. Come all the way back through the middle. Hands to heart as you step both feet underneath the hips. We'll try that on the other side. So as you bring your left foot into your tree pose, remembering you can use the floor, you can use a piece of furniture, or bring that foot up a little bit higher. Standing up nice and tall, we'll reach the arms forwards and then bring the back of the hands to touch and then cross left wrist over right wrist, palms together. Reach the arms up, pulling the biceps back by your ears as you lengthen up. If that's too much, then simply separate your hands. Drawing a little bit of power from that standing leg, lifting up and out of the floor. Come all the way back, down the middle, lowering those arms and hands coming back to heart. Left foot tucks behind right foot. And right hand to hip this time as you energize that left arm over the top of the hips. You're gently pushing the hips out to the side. Lovely. Coming all the way back. Hands coming to heart as you step the feet underneath the hips. Beautiful. So standing towards the top of your mat, you're going to bring your hands onto your hips and step or slide right foot back and then turn all 10 toes to the long edge of the mat. So just make sure that you're facing me on the mat there. All 10 toes are facing forwards. Then lift the chest up nice and tall. Squeeze those elbows back behind you as you inhale and exhale, hinging forwards, coming down into your forward bend, releasing your hands down onto the floor. And then just go ahead and walk your hands forwards. So you're bringing your hands onto your shoulders and lengthening your chest forwards, pressing your weight back into your heels. As you inhale, you're going to float the right arm all the way up towards the sky. And as you exhale, lower down, so coming into a little twist. Other arm lifts up, inhaling, keeping the chest forwards and exhale. We'll do one more each way. So each time you lift the arm, the hips stay relatively square towards the floor. So you're getting a lovely rotation through the middle and upper back. Last time with that left arm. We'll come all the way down, coming up onto your finger pads, take an inhale. And as you exhale, come into your forward fold. So you maybe keep your hands underneath your face, or maybe bring your hands around your ankles, or feed your hands back between your legs, fingertips pointing away from you, and draw the body in a little closer. All of those available, depending on how hamstrings and lower back are feeling. Lovely. And walking the hands back underneath your face. You're going to turn over that right foot. So turn your right foot to the top of your mat. All 10 toes are pointing in the same direction. So hop your feet hip width apart. And when you're ready, on an inhale, sweep the arms all the way up into a high lunge. So you've got your right knee bent. Let's take an inhale. And exhale, as you twist, left arm comes forward, right arm back behind you. You're turning towards your front knee. Sweep both arms up to the sky, take an inhale. Same direction as you exhale, left arm forwards, right arm back. Last time, inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. Sweeping both arms up, take an inhale. And this time as you exhale, drop that back heel in. We'll open up into a warrior two. So left foot facing the long edge of the mat. Arms out nice and wide. Now reach forwards, right hand or forearm to thigh. We'll take the top arm up. And then reaching that left hand behind your low back. Just roll that top shoulder open. You might rest your hand on your low back, or some of you might be able to catch hold of your left hand and just give it a little tug and see if you can bring it to the top of your right hip. And just snuggling it in there, you can take your gaze up towards the sky or keep the gaze down as you open up across the chest. Keep strong in the legs. And then reach that left arm all the way up as you inhale and extending over the top of the head as you exhale, that lovely stretch from fingertip to the edge of the foot. Back into your warrior two. Let's take an inhale. Straighten your front leg as you take your right arm all the way up and back. Gorgeous. Inhaling back into your warrior. And as you exhale, take a big wimble of the hands down, framing the front foot. Downward dog, or joining in three-legged dog, taking that right leg up and back. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, roll the body forwards to plank, lowering the foot as the shoulders come over the wrists. Exhaling down onto your belly. Remember, you can skip these bits out. Inhaling into your little back bend of choice. And exhale, downward facing dog. So we can have a little bit of fun here. We can walk to the top of the mat. You can step to the top of the mat. Or if you've got a bit more energy, bend the knees, look forwards as you inhale. And as you exhale, hop to the top of the mat. Folding over the legs, rising up, take an inhale. Gorgeous. And exhale, let's bring the hands down to the heart. Hands on the hips. This time, left leg. We're going to step back, turning to the long edge of the mat. And you can slightly pigeon toe your feet if you need a bit of space in the back, so toes slightly in, heels out. Option one, we keep the hands on the hips. Or option two, go ahead and bring the hands behind you, interlacing the hands so the palms are open, rolling the knuckles down, take an inhale. And as you exhale, arms lift up and over, if that's all right on the shoulders. If not, bring the hands down underneath the face. Pausing for a moment in that shoulder stretch, just allowing again gravity to bring the little finger edge of the hand forwards. And slowly releasing the arms, bringing your fingertips down to the floor. Again, walking the hands ever so slightly forward so the chest elongates, pressing the weight back into the heels. Right arm floats up towards the sky, looking towards fingertips. And exhale, release. Keep the chest forwards as we come into that twist, inhaling up and exhaling down. Let's do one more each way. Maybe there's a little bit more space to open into this time. It's nice to repeat to pose. Just see how we feel as the class progresses. As you lower that left hand, let's come up onto the fingertips, lift the chest, take an inhale, and then exhale into your forward fold. Maybe it's the same as before. Hands under the face, maybe again, you want to wrap your hands around your ankles. You can always hook your big toes with your first two fingers and take the elbows out nice and wide and draw the body in. Or feed the hands back between the legs. Just finding that sense of space in the back, stretching out through the hamstrings, but no sense of pulling or pinching around the lower back or the back of the legs. Soften those knees if that's going on. Releasing that forward fold, let's turn over your left foot this time. So turning your left toes forwards, go ahead and separate your feet hip width apart. And when you're ready, rise up into that high lunge, little softness in the back knee, find your balance. Find your focus as you inhale. And as you exhale, we're going to take right arm forwards, left arm back. You're turning towards that front knee. Sweeping both arms up, take an inhale. Right arm forwards, left arm back. Spreading the arms out nice and wide. One more time, inhaling up. Woo, exhaling. Into that twist, ready for your warrior. Arms lift up, inhale. Exhale, right heel drops in, so we're opening up into our warrior on the other side. Go ahead and adjust your feet if you need to. And then reaching forwards, left hand or forearm to thigh, top arm up. And then wrapping that right hand around your low back. Or go ahead and give it a little tug round so you can snuggle it in to the top of your left thigh there. Opening up through the shoulder, maybe looking up or keeping your gaze nice and low towards the floor. Just think about pulling your upper body back a little ways. Just to open up even more space in the shoulder. Lovely. Breathing deeply as you power up through the legs. Releasing that right arm up as you inhale. And let's stretch it over the top of the head as you exhale. Oh, lovely stretch through the right side of the body, coming back into your warrior as you inhale. Straighten the front leg as you reach the left arm up and back. Back into your warrior. Let's take an inhale. And then windmilling the hands down as you pivot on that back foot. Option downward dog or join me three-legged dog, left leg high. Coming forwards to plank, shoulders over wrists as you lower the foot. Coming down onto your belly one last time. Finding your back bend. And we'll meet in downward facing dog. From your downward dog, let's widen the feet towards the outside edges of your mat. Come down onto all fours, keeping those knees nice and wide. Big toes point together. Send your hips back towards your heels. Maybe make a little support for your head. Elbows wide, one hand resting on the other. Let's take a moment in child pose to gather your breath. Create that little space in our practice to come back to our breath. Check in with our body, see how we're feeling. Allowing again the shoulders to just drop away from the ears. I know my default position is to pull them up towards my ears, so I have to kind of check myself every now and again. Let me come around the other way. Lovely. Reaching the arms out in front of you. Let's come back onto all fours, but keep those knees wide. Please separate your big toes. And we'll start to draw circles with the hips here. So knees as wide as feels comfortable as you start to take the hips round in any direction. Come into a little hip stretch next. So let's just start warming them up. Getting them ready for what's to come as you change direction. It might be more of a figure of 8 movement as you create that space. Lovely. And then coming to stillness, walking your knees back underneath your hips. We're going to tuck the toes under and lift up into your downward facing dog. From your downward dog, take that right leg up and back, bending the knee, heel to bottom. So you're pointing that right knee up towards the sky, pressing your rib cage back towards your standing leg. And let's take 3 nice big circles with your right knee. Inner thigh brushing inner thigh as you, again, just warm up into the hip, create that sense of space in that big stabilizing joint in the body. And when you've done your 3 circles, take the right leg up and back behind you, take an inhale. And exhale, step or help it forwards. Give it a hand if it doesn't quite get there. And before you bring that back knee down, maybe wiggle or slide that left foot back behind you. So as you bring your knee down, you can see my knee is well behind my hip. It's not under my hip, it's well behind my hip. Both hands come to the inside of that front foot. You're going to come up onto your fists, free up your thumbs, and press your thumbs down into the mat like you're pressing a little drawing pin down into the floor. Squeeze your knee against your upper arm and see if you can lengthen your chest forwards as we come into lizard. This might be where you stay today. It's a big stretch for that left hip. But if your hips feel okay, you might explore turning your right toes out, allowing that knee to roll open. And you can maybe come down onto your forearms, or you can stay up on your hands. If you find that one forearm doesn't quite get down to the floor, You can always pop a little yoga block or a cushion underneath your forearms to balance things out there. And if you want even more, you come back up onto your hands and pressing your right hand against that right knee, you turn your chest up towards the sky, so kind of spiraling the body forwards and up, pressing the knee gently away from you, leaning the body back away from the knee. Beautiful. Let's slowly release, walking that foot back between your hands. Take an inhale and exhale. Take a little hamstring stretch here. Oh, that should feel quite nice after that hip stretch. Maybe the only time in the world a hamstring stretch feels good. And then from there, we'll bend the knee, plant the foot, come back into your downward dog, and maybe have a little walk out with the feet, a little wobble of the hip side to side, just shake it out there. And we'll try that on the other side. So left leg floats up, we'll bend the knee, drop the heel to your bottom. Spinning the knee up towards the sky, let's take those 3 big circles. I say big circles, they might be smaller circles this morning. Whatever variation works for your hip. One side might feel different to the other, mine always do. And then we'll take the leg all the way up and back behind you, stepping it forwards. And as before we lower that back knee, we're going to have a little wiggle or slide of that right foot back. So again, when my knee comes down, it's well behind my hip. You can tuck the toes or flatten the foot, whatever works for you. Hands to inside of front foot, again up on your fists. Thumbs pressing those imaginary blue tack drawing pins or blue tack into the floor. Knee squeezing against upper arm. And allow the chest to lengthen forwards. And again, you might notice quite a difference in one side to the other. This is my much stiffer side. So again, we can stay here, just stretching and breathing into where we feel that stretch going on, or turning the left toes out, allow the knee to roll open. And you can always venture down onto your forearms. And again, if one side feels a little bit unbalanced, pop something underneath your arms so you can bring your chest level there. Both forearms resting evenly on the floor if you can. And if you want that little final opportunity to open up space, we come onto our hands, the left hand presses the knee away, and we turn the chest up towards the sky, to almost drawing the body back a little way away from your knee. Coming back to center, walking that foot between your hands, coming into your hamstring stretch, just seeing how that feels, bringing the hips back into alignment. And then bending the front knee, we'll bring both hands to the inside of the front foot. So this time we can step back onto all fours, bringing the knees and the ankles together. We'll spin the shins to one side so you can drop the bottom down and extend both legs out in front of you. Brilliant. Give those legs a little shake. As generous a bend in the knees as you need to as we come into a forward fold, reaching the arms up. Let's take an inhale. And as you hinge forwards, again, maybe hands land on your thighs, your shins, or maybe you can cross at the wrists and take hold of the outside edges of your feet. Easing the body down. Remember that lovely option of bending the knees and wrapping both hands underneath the backs of the legs if you need a bit more support today. And try and create that sense of space in the back body. Lengthening the chest forwards. Easing your way down. Slowly, let's walk our way back up. And we'll bring that right heel in, keeping the foot on the floor on the inside of the leg. We're coming to a lovely open twist. So right elbow slots onto the inside of the knee. And press your knee against your elbow as you turn to the left. So your palm is facing to the left side of your mat. You're pulling the left toes towards you and opening up into all of that space on the left side. Keep that right knee up towards the sky as you press it firmly against your elbow there. Lovely. Coming back to center. Let's allow that right knee to open out to the side. Stretching over your left leg, reaching the arms up. And coming down over the left leg as you exhale. If that's uncomfortable to have the knee resting open, you can always come back into a forward fold with both legs extended in front of you. Lovely, rolling up. Let's take that left leg out on a diagonal, adjusting your heel in towards your groin if you need to. Left hand on your thigh or your shin, or maybe you can find your big toe. Let's take the right arm up and bring it behind your head, cradling your neck, and then press your head into your hand into your head as you pull the elbow back. And stretching all of the way down the side body into the armpits, supporting the head. Lovely, releasing, coming all the way back, right hand behind the hip. Left arm sweeps in front of the face, and maybe you can lift the hips up into a little half wild thing this morning. Let's come all the way down. Give the legs a little shake, and we'll swap sides. So left heel slides in. So it's about a fist distance between the foot and the thigh there. Left elbow slots onto the inside of the knee. So you're turning towards the right into a lovely open twist. Keep pressing knee against your elbow. Lovely, maintaining that integrity through that left knee as you turn the body to the right. Lovely, coming back to center. Let's allow the knee to roll open. So you can always pop something, a jumper or pillow underneath that knee, or just bring both legs out in front of you as you reach up. Coming straight over that right leg, so try not to dip the chest down to one side or the other as you lengthen the body forwards. Lovely, and then coming all the way back up. We'll take that right leg out on the diagonal, so go ahead and adjust the heel. Right hand on your thigh, your shin, as you reach the left arm up this time, and cradling your head, or rather neck, with your hand, you can pull the elbow back and gently press your head into your hand. So we're just offering a bit of support for the head, which is super heavy, and getting that lovely stretch down the side body. Come back to center, releasing the left hand down just behind the hip. Right arm sweeps in front of the face, maybe lifting the hips up into that lovely half wild thing. And then come all the way down. Let's bend both knees so you can cross one ankle in front of the other and give yourself a nice hug in. Lovely. Then from there, just separating your feet and rolling yourself down onto your back, grabbing a jumper if you need to. It's certainly autumnal this morning, isn't it? And when you come down onto your back, bring both knees in towards your chest. And again, maybe have a little rock from side to side or a little circle of the knees, just releasing into the lower back there. And both hands hug your right knee in and just let your left foot come down to the floor. Beautiful, hugging that knee in. Let's take the leg up towards the sky, holding on around the back of the leg. Just have a little wiggle out through the ankle as you gently circle it or point and flex the foot. Just create the space in the joint. Opening up into the back of the leg, one final lovely hamstring stretch. And then push the heel all the way up towards the ceiling. Soften the shoulders. And then if you can, keeping the leg where it is, just bring both hands down by the side of the body. Palms flat to the floor, and slowly extend that leg all the way down to the mat, really stretching your heel away from your hip. Make the leg as long as you can. And then slide the heel back in towards your bottom. Left knee coming in, up into that hamstring stretch as you hold on around the back of the leg there. Again, just make sure that the shoulders stay relaxed as you just bring a little bit of movement into the ankle, little circles or point and flex there. And then find your hamstring stretch. Fire those heels up towards the sky. And then palms flat to the floor. As you slowly lower the leg again, really trying to extend that heel away from you. Beautiful. And then slide the foot all the way back in. Widen your feet. And allow your inner knees to rest against one another. Turning your palms up towards the ceiling, or maybe bringing again a hand onto your chest, a hand onto your belly. Let your elbows rest on the floor. So go ahead and slide your fingertips a little bit wider if you need to. Closing the eyes, take a nice deep breath in. And as you breathe out, allow the back body to gently accept the support of the floor beneath it. As the back body begins to gently relax and relinquish any gripping or holding, you might feel then that the front body can begin to open. The collarbones can broaden as the shoulder blades spread underneath you. The hips can begin to release. Keeping the knees gently bent, the feet nice and wide, we've created that sense of support for the lower back. Again, as you inhale, create that sense of space underneath each hand, chest and belly. As you exhale, allow the body to soften into all of that space the breath has created. And again, take a moment to take a quick scan around the body. Just noticing, again, any residual pockets of tension, any areas which, again, feel less than spacious. See if you can use that exhale to just release any residual gripping or holding. We'll carry those little passports of tension around in our bodies. Maybe it's our shoulders, our face, upper back if we spend a lot of time hunched over a computer. And the hips, and the low back. We find ourselves seated in the same position for long periods of time. So allowing that exhale to work its magic. Over the next few breaths, see if you can make your inhale a little bit deeper, a little bit more spacious. That component of the breath that helps bring us energy, resolve for the rest of the day, the rest of the week. And couple that now maybe with a little bit of movement into fingertips and toes, maybe a little roll across the back of your head. And then feel free, if it feels nice, to extend both legs in front of you and once again reach the arms back into that full body stretch, maybe noticing how that feels at the end of a practice and at the beginning of a practice. Maybe we've freed up a little bit more space. And then as you lower the arms, hug or walk the feet back in towards you, so you bring your knees in towards your chest. Opportunity again to rock, to roll, to circle, to linger in stillness, whatever feels good. And then rolling onto your right or your left side, wherever there's most space in the room. Come to a comfortable seated position, take your time. Lovely. Fingertips just down to the floor, alongside your hips. So again, you can gently press them down and lengthen the spine up and out of the floor there. allowing the knees to relax. Let's take a lovely inhale together. The deepest breath, we breathe all morning as you reach the arms up, and as you exhale, bring the hands down to the heart, chin to chest. We'll bow to thank one another for sharing a practice, either live or remotely, later on today or this week. And namaste. Thank you, thank you. Enjoy this lovely season. Beautiful.